It's Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. We have a manifesto, allegedly. Daniel Penny speaks. Caitlin Clark bends the knee, and I heard this, so now you do too. Next on the AM Update. We now allegedly have a copy, the text of the manifesto of the assassin of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione is the person of interest, and he was officially charged yesterday in the murder of Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione was seen entering a courthouse in Pennsylvania for an extradition hearing. He shouted some phrases along the lines of, "This is a joke, you're playing the American people, yada, yada, yada." Really odd case all the way around. This is the manifesto allegedly belonging to one Luigi Mangione. He said, quote, "To the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I'll state this plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, and a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and a to-do list that illuminates the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the number one most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly number 42 in life expectancy." Mangione then goes on to excoriate the healthcare industry in the United States. It seems like this guy probably would have been better off framing this a little bit differently. He's really mad at Obamacare. That's what broke the healthcare industry in this country. Not exactly the healthcare industry itself. Of course, the insurance companies went along with Obamacare. We all know that, and that's a topic for another day. But just really, really bizarre story. I'm starting to believe the narrative that this guy just had a mental break about 6 months ago or so, and just really smart, really intelligent, and didn't know what to do with that mental break. Really disturbing. Daniel Penny broke his silence for the first time talking to Fox News, and I'll just tell you this. He deserves a medal.
I mean, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't really extend myself. I think this type of thing is very uncomfortable. All this attention and limelight is very uncomfortable. And I would prefer without it. I didn't want any type of attention or praise, and I still don't. The guilt I would have felt if someone did get hurt, if he did do what he was threatening to do, would never be able to live with myself. And I'll take 1 million court appearances and people calling me names and people hating me just to keep one of those people from getting hurt or killed. I mean, I'm not a people from getting hurt or killed.
That is Daniel Penny speaking to Fox News yesterday, breaking his silence for the first time after his not guilty verdict was handed down from a Manhattan court. We quite succinctly just don't deserve a guy like that. Quite frankly, we need more guys like Daniel Penny in droves. You can tell just listening to that he's not comfortable with any of this. He doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't like the spotlight. He wishes it didn't have to come to this, but he says he doesn't regret anything. Give that man the Medal of Freedom. New border czar Tom Homan, fresh off of his visit with Dr. Phil to the southern border, actually joined Dr. Phil on his program to talk about his priorities and mass deportations.
What happens January 21st? Where do you start?
Well, there's 3 rails we'll start the first day. Number 1, we're going to secure the border. Number 2, we're going to run the deportation operation. And number 3, they'll look for these 300,000 kids. We'll find them too. President Trump's been clear. We're going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats first because they pose the most danger to this nation. So day 1, we're going to be looking for these public safety threats, arresting them, detaining them, and deporting them. And if these sanctuary city mayors don't want to help, then get the hell out of the way because we're coming. We're doing it.
You say that the left media has it backwards, branding you as the bad guy. How are you the bad guy?
You know, I grew up in a family full of cops. My grandfather's a cop. My dad was a cop. And we're in a situation now where the left thinks those who enforce the laws are the bad guys, those who broke the law are the victims. Well, we're going to change that after January 20th.
A freaking man. That is Tom Homan, new border czar on Dr. Phil Prime Time. Not messing around at all. Love to hear it. Donald Trump, in a post on Truth Social yesterday, says he's going to be offering incentives for any corporation who makes a large investment into the United States. He said on Truth Social, quote, any person or company investing $1 billion or more in the United States of America will receive fully expedited approvals and permits, including but in no way limited to all environmental approvals. Get ready to rock. Love that development and idea. Getting rid of regulations, expediting the bureaucratic process as much as possible. That is one of the things that will have the first impact and the most significant impacts. Now, not long lasting. It just depends on the administration. But I can't wait to see what the economy and how the economy reacts to Trump implementing some of these ideas and plans. New York City Mayor Eric Adams continues his shirking of the left. Here he is on the point with Marcia Kramer.
And now we're hearing others are saying that Biden should pardon people because this would be difficult on their families and difficult on them, and they would have to pay high legal fees. Well, what about me? What about those mothers who are placed on FBI watch lists because they were standing up for their children?
Well, you said the other day you think that the justice system has been politicized. You believe that, don't you?
Yes, I do, with all my heart. But not only do I believe it, the president stated it. Donald Trump stated it. And countless others. You should look at some of these stories, what happened to people that stand up because of what they believe in. I believed in this city. We were going in the wrong direction with the migrants and asylum seekers. And I was very clear about that after 10 trips to Washington, D.C. I know what this crisis has done to our city long term. And New Yorkers are going to see the byproduct of $6.4 billion removed from our coffers.
So given the fact that you think it's been politicized, there's some people who think that President Trump might move to pardon some of the people who were involved in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Do you think that's something he should do because it's been politicized, or he should not do?
I think that's the determination of the president. I believe it's imperative that we seek justice in our country.
That is Mayor Eric Adams of New York saying he, in no uncertain terms, he's hinted at this before, in no uncertain terms, he says the Department of Justice has been politicized. Oh, man. It's easy for him to say this now. It's easy for him to display the rhetoric that he has on immigration since Donald Trump won, since Donald Trump is the winner now. But it certainly seems like Eric Adams is ready and rearing to completely shirk the party that he came from. What does it seem like to you? Let me know at RealAmUpdate on X. You know, the other day, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social about the great dinner meeting that he had with the quote-unquote governor of the state of Canada. You know, just making light of that and making light of the joke that was apparently told between Trump and Trudeau during their meeting at Mar-a-Lago a couple of weeks ago, where he said if Canada doesn't want to play ball with the tariffs that he's talking about, well, then maybe Canada can become the 51st state. Well, the leader of Canada's Green Party, Elizabeth May, was asked about those comments, and she doesn't find them funny.
Trump on his Truth Social this morning greeted the Prime Minister as the governor of the 51st state, something along that line. Have you seen that? Do you have any thoughts about that, about the dynamics of the relationship?
I haven't seen that, but so I probably shouldn't comment. Just that with the Truth Social post of Donald Trump planting a Canadian flag on a Canadian mountain, I have to say that to the extent that this 51st state thing was a joke, it's not funny. And I find that pursuing it on social media makes me increasingly nervous. Mr. Trump has, we have to be very, very careful with the president-elect, and we have to pull together, I think, all opposition party leaders and premiers, all elements of the Canadian political establishment, such as we are, better pull together to make sure we don't create any cracks that allow Fox News or Mr. Trump's social media to exploit us and say things about Canada.
This is very serious. I'm the leader of Canada's Green Party. You will take me serious, and I don't like your jokes about turning Canada into the 51st state. Oh, man. Lefties never cease to fascinate me with their self-importance, and that is on full display there with Elizabeth May, the leader of Canada's Green Party. Basketball superstar Caitlin Clark has been named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. She opened up in an interview about what the last 365 days have been like for her, from playing for the Iowa Hawkeyes, breaking the all-time NCAA scoring record, to being drafted into the WNBA.
When I started my last college season and not knowing if that would actually be my last season, whether I was deciding to come back to college or turn pro, and now sitting here like I'm done with my first professional season and so much has happened, and whether it was, making the national championship game or getting the Fever back to the playoffs since 2016, there's just a lot to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment and kind of understand in the moment, but it's been fun to reflect on.
Unfortunately, elsewhere in that interview, Caitlin Clark decides to bend the knee to the woke mob. She told the magazine, quote, "I want to say I've learned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of these players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league kind of has been built on them. The more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible, I think it's very important." So Caitlin Clark says she believes in white privilege, bending the knee. Now, this is not a huge surprise that she would do this, but it's disappointing nonetheless. And finally, a palate cleanser. I heard this. Well, I don't know if this is a palate cleanser or not. You might think this is fun or funny. I kind of thought it was amusing, but I couldn't get it out of my head. What would happen if the 90s band Creed met Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let Rudolph join in any reindeer games. And one foggy Christmas Eve, oh, Santa came to say, "Can you take me higher to a place where snowmen see? Can you take me higher to a place where sleigh bells ring?"
That is from the TikTok account There I Ruined It. Good luck getting that out of your head today. You're welcome. More again tomorrow. I'm Aaron McIntire, and this is the AM Update.